Did anybody give Bhagat Singh a certificate to become a patriot? No, he took ownership. Did Ram say, let's compromise? Let us meet halfway? Let us do satyagraha? He said, no, none of this nonsense will work. There's an education mafia. They all want to suck something out of the country. No, change the judiciary. They don't permit, change them. The law doesn't permit, change the law. 150 times this country's constitution has been amended. 150, do it 151 times. Change it.
Welcome back. It's great to see you all. The following is a conversation with motivational speaker, business coach, and best-selling author of You Can Win, more than 10 million copies sold, Shiv Khera. In this conversation, we discuss his life story, the story of his rise in business, and also his perspective on India. So enjoy the conversation and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Mr. Shiv Khera, welcome to the Abhijit Chavda podcast. It is such a pleasure and a privilege to get to speak to you at length. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me over. I'm grateful and privileged.
So, Mr. Shiv Khera, you are one of the pioneers of the personal development field. You are one of the greatest names in this. You have a book that's a 10 million bestseller, You Can Win. I would first of all like to understand your journey. How did you become the man that you are today? Where did it start?
I'm going to keep it short because it's been covered many times. See, I came from a business family. We had coal mines in India and they got nationalized. And right from being a mine owner, we came on the street. Now, first of all, I didn't create the mines. I inherited them.
Okay.
And when I say came on the street, means we came on the street. My father had died when I was just about finishing college, and we were left with a liability and the assets were gone. And I was married just 4 weeks then. I remember a year later, my daughter was born, and I sold some of the last pieces of my mother's jewelry to get a release from the hospital. I did not have $10 to buy milk that night.
Okay.
I tried my hands on 3 businesses with no money, and I failed in all 3. And finally, November 13, 1975, I left India, went to US, initially went to Toronto. And since that, I'm not that educated. My academics are, I'm a BCom 3rd division. I failed in my 10th. That's my academics. Okay.
All right.
So there's no way I could get any job in life.
Okay.
So I started life with a bucket in my hand, washing cars door to door for about a year and a half. I was washing cars on the street. And totally by accident, I got into selling life insurance, which in my opinion, Abhijit, was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Okay.
And why I say that is that taught me how to lose in life, because today, sadly, most parents and teachers tell their kids, teach them 2 words, succeed and win, succeed and win, succeed and win. But we never teach our kids how to lose and how to fail. Now, why I say that? It's important because life always does not go up, 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 up. It also comes down.
Yes.
But all they have learned is the 2 words, success and win. They have never learned how to fail and how to lose, which is a reality.
It is.
But when they fail and they lose, they don't know how to handle it. They go into deep depressions, they commit suicide, all kinds of things happen. But when I joined selling life insurance, that taught me that selling is a rejection business. And selling life insurance is one of the toughest things to sell in the world. It is not like selling spectacles or your car or a pen or a house or something. You can kick and feel and see and what you do. But there, what are you selling? A concept which by and large people relate. Well, when I'm dead, I don't know what's coming. So that is one of the toughest sales in the world. And when within 90 days, my manager called me, fired me for non-performance. And that is the time, Abhijit, there was a program by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the man who wrote the book Power of Positive Thinking. I attended the program, and that was one of the turning points in my life. You see, what I learned that night was one thing from a prayer that he gave that night. And it goes like this. He looked at everybody and he said, look, you people appear so cool, calm, comfortable. It appears nobody has a problem here. Then he asked, does anybody have a problem here? Now, who doesn't? So everybody raised their hand. Then he asked, how many people would like to get rid of their problems? Again, everybody raised their hand. And then he said, while I was coming here, I came across a place where I saw some people lying down, all comfortable, totally stretched out, relaxed. They had no problem whatsoever. How many people would like to know where that place is? Again, everybody raised their hand. And then Dr. Peel said, 2 blocks away from here, there is a cemetery. There are people lying there, all stretched out, comfortable, totally relaxed. They have no problem whatsoever. Then he asked, how many people would like to get rid of the problem? Nobody raised their hand and everybody put their hand in their pocket. You see, that day he gave a prayer, which in my opinion is the crux of life. And he said, the prayer goes as a serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference what I can and what I cannot. Amazing. I repeat, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. If you analyze this, can we change everything in this world to suit ourselves? Answer is no.
No.
Can we mold and manipulate everything to bring them the way we want it? Answer is no. There are many, many, many things beyond us, such as I didn't choose my parents, neither did you. I didn't decide where I was going to be born, and neither did you. And granted, sometimes people are born deformed. What wrong did they do? And sometimes bad things do happen to good people for no fault of their own. What wrong did they do? Many things are unexplained, but it says, what I cannot change, let me accept it graciously.
Yes.
Not grudgingly. Because many times we keep fighting the things we just cannot change, and we keep bringing stress into our lives, and we become paralyzed, and we become unproductive. So it says, what I cannot change, let me accept it graciously. And 2, if I can change, then give me the courage to do it, and wisdom to know what I can and what I cannot. Now, when I wrote my book, You Can Achieve More, which is the new one, see, I took this thought 2 steps forward, and I wrote in that life is full of choices and life is full of compromises. It seems like a contradiction, but not really. See, how is life full of choices? If I ill-treat you, I have chosen to be ill-treated, haven't I? If I treat you with discourtesy, I've chosen to be treated with discourtesy, haven't I?
Yes.
If I light up a cigarette, I've chosen to invite cancer, haven't I? And if I drink and drive, I've chosen to invite an accident, haven't I?
Yes.
And if I exercise every day, I've chosen to invite good health, haven't I?
Yes.
And if I eat too much every day, I've chosen to be obese, haven't I? And if I tell lies, I've chosen to lose my credibility, haven't I?
Yes.
See, life is full of choices. Now, the big question is, in fact, not question, the conclusion is that we are all free to the point of choice. But after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice after that.
True.
See?
Yes.
And now, how is life full of compromises? As somebody said, well, we cannot choose the cards that are dealt to us in life. What we can choose is how we play the game.
Yes.
And sometimes nature gives us a lemon, the choice is ours, or do we, now the question, choice is ours, do we cry or do we make lemonade? That's our choice. Now, Abhijit, many times, especially the press people, ask me one question, that Mr. Khera, people who are successful, don't they make mistakes? And people who fail, don't they do positive things in life? Now, this is the crux, Abhijit, of life. See, people who succeed, they do make mistakes. But remember, making a mistake once in a while does not bring failure. Repeating the same mistake again and again is what brings failure. And doing something positive once in a while does not bring success either.
Consistency.
It is repeating the same positive behavior is what brings success. And that is the crucial part. So what is success? Series of positive decisions in life is called success, and series of negative decisions in life is called failure. Now, when I talk of the life insurance, when I was being fired, and after I attended Dr. Peel's program, I went back to my manager.
Okay.
And I said, Joe, give me one more shot. Don't fire me. I said, if you fire me today, I don't know where to go. And the only place I know where to go is to go back to washing cars. And I don't want to do that anymore. I got a little daughter. I got a family to support. I make one commitment to you. I won't let you down because of my effort. He looked at me and he says, Shiv, that's not your small one. That's your big one. He said, I'll let you stay here only if you make a commitment. Not to me, but to yourself. I'll let you stay here. See, that day, Abhijit, I made a commitment. And that was one of the turning points in my life. And don't we all have some turning points?
Yes.
And that day I understood the difference between a promise and a commitment. Promise we make to others. Commitment we make to ourselves. And the second thing that I learned at that point was, after attending Dr. Peel's program, was that I kept failing all my life and kept blaming the whole world for my failure, not realizing that I was my own biggest problem. Nothing changed outside, but something changed inside, and the direction in my life changed. And that's where the prayer helped me out. It says, problem is a sign of life. So long as we are alive, we shall have problems. The day we don't have problems, we'll be dead.
Yes.
And the second lesson that I learned was that I was on 100% commission to sell life insurance.
Okay.
Now, if I didn't sell, I wouldn't get any money, and I had no money. But you see, interestingly, in my own company, I saw there were some people getting salaries, but they were not doing the job. And that is the time I learned the difference between making money versus earning money. Making money is criminal, earning money is spiritual. I repeat, making money is criminal, earning money is spiritual. What is the difference? When you earn money, you put your energy and ethics behind it. 2 words, you put your energy and ethics behind it. And sadly, today, most people want to make money, they don't want to earn it. And all you look at is people who go to work. There was a survey conducted. They go to work, they spend 2-3 hours on the personal social media. Is that what you're getting paid for?
Definitely not.
And when you steal somebody's wallet, what do you call that person? A thief. And when we do all these things, what are we? Thieves. We need to understand wages without work amounts to stealing.
Yes.
You know something? We need to get our basics right. And you mentioned something a little while ago on something about current generation and competition.
Yes.
I recall I was addressing a group of, it was a very mixed group, doctors, engineers, attorneys, accountants, carpenters, plumbers, electricians. Very mixed group.
Okay.
And as I came in, I said, never in the history of mankind has it been so easy to succeed in life the way it is today. Regardless of your profession, we have no competition. When I repeated myself twice, one person from the audience got up and he said, tell me, how come we have no competition? And I said, I asked him this one question, and I'm asking you the same question. Tell me, how many people do you know right now walking off the street who are willing to do a little bit more than what they get paid for? Tell me, how many? Answer is hardly any.
Hardly any.
Yeah, most people don't even want to do what they get paid for. There's a second big category of people who only want to do what they can get by with. And there's a very small fraction of people who are willing to do a little bit more than what they get paid for. And I asked him, if you fall into that category, I don't care what your profession is, tell me, where's your competition? You have no competition, you become the competition. You see, Today, you can't even find a good accountant. You can't find a good attorney. You can't find a good carpenter. You can't find a good plumber. You can't find a good anything. Question is, are you willing to do a little bit more than what you get paid for? Now, tell me something. If everybody in our organization starts thinking that way, what will happen to productivity quality? And if you read the life histories of people who have succeeded and then sustained success, I repeat, success is one thing, sustaining success is another.
It is.
Yeah?
Yes.
People who have succeeded in life, sustained success, and built goodwill, they have lived by this one principle: I shall always give more than what I get to my family. I shall always give more than what I get to my organization. I shall always give more than what I get to my customer. And I shall always give more than what I get to my country. Now tell me one thing. You heard my qualification. I'm a BCom third division. Why do our clients hire us? There are many, many, many more qualified people than us. But why do our clients hire us? For only one reason. We're not the smartest people. There are many more qualified people than us. But our clients hire us for only one reason. Our commitment to them is not 100%. It is always 200%. Where's the competition? I'm very grateful to God. And all I can say is for the past 35 years, we have not made one outbound call for corporate business. And we deal some of the top Fortune 100 companies in the world. But important thing is, it's a word of mouth. It's our commitment to them. When we do public programs, yes, we do make outbound calls. But for corporate business, we have not. But important thing is, again, are we willing to do a little bit more than what they get paid for? Tell me, which school anywhere in the world, including your MITs and others, who is teaching all this stuff? Hardly any. They are not teaching all this stuff. I mean, we've just partnered now. IIM Nagpur has partnered with us to do all these programs for all their students. It's mandatory. It's not optional. Our program, and I'm grateful to God. We've been rated as some of the #1 program in the world, and some people have rated us higher than Harvard and Oxford too. So, and they're on videos. So my point I'm trying to make is that eventually it comes down to, are you willing to do a little bit more than what you get paid for?
Enjoying the conversation? Don't forget to like and subscribe. And please continue watching. Thank you. Then what was the next step in the journey? You made a commitment to yourself.
Yes.
What was the commitment? What was the commitment?
Okay. But you see, my point, what I was coming to back is, says Abhijit, I requested him to withdraw the papers. Which he did. And that year I went ahead, sold close to $1 million.
I see.
Next year, 3 million. The year after, 5 million. And I moved on to US, got into 3 businesses. I bought out a company out of California in 1984 and started the New Jersey operation with no clients. And I sold my company with close to 500 clients for a decent sum. So the reason I've shared my life with you is that, look, as somebody said, wise people learn from their mistakes, but wiser people learn from other people's mistakes.
Yes.
And because our lives are not long enough to make all of our own mistakes, but some people never learn. I repeat, some people never learn. And that is the sad part. There is a big difference between an owner mentality and an employee mentality.
Yes.
See, what is the difference? The difference is whether a paycheck does not decide who is the owner, who is the employee. It is the acceptance of responsibility and ownership that decides who is the owner. I'll share with you an example. I heard this about 45 years ago in the US. There were some people working out in the sun. Limousine came, and a man from inside called one of the guys, Steve. He came in, exchanged pleasantries, had some cold drink, went back to work. So all his colleagues were impressed. you know this guy in the limousine who's the president of the company? Steve said, not only do I know him, but he and I joined the company about 35 years ago on the same day and on the same position.
Okay.
Now they were surprised. You mean you both joined same day, same position? How come he's the president, you are still working out in the hot sun as a laborer? And the answer Steve gave was amazing. He said, 35 years ago, I started working for $1.28 an hour, and he started working for the company. I started working for $1.28 an hour, and he started working for the company. You know the story I'm just sharing with you? This is literally the story of Jack Welch, the man who was heading GE. Now, you might say such things might happen in the US, may not happen in India or somewhere else. I'll share with you another one here. 5 years ago, I met a person who had taken early retirement from the defense services and started his business, and within a matter of few years, started doing close to 1,000 crore turnover.
Okay.
So one day a friend of his came over and said, can I work for you? Because he was looking for a job. He had taken early retirement too.
Okay.
So he said, why not? I've known you for 30 years. Go ahead, come and work here. And he did it. So one day the office closed, everybody left, and these two friends were sitting in the office. So the employee right there, said to the owner, you remember 30 years ago we joined the services together the same day? He said, yeah, I remember. He said, you were an employee then, I was an employee then, you remember? He said, yes, I remember. He said, you were getting $1,000, I was getting $1,000. You remember? He said, yeah, I remember. He says, but look at this, 30 years later, I'm still an employee and you are an owner of a company worth 1,000 crores. Isn't this luck? Isn't this luck?
Okay.
You know something? The answer the man gave, if this is the only take home from this meeting that you and I are having, and whatever the viewers are listening, I think if this is the only take home, this program would have paid 1 million times. Let me share with you the answer the man gave. He said, look, I didn't want to bring it up, but since you brought it up, I will address it. You may not like it, but he said, that's your problem. So the owner said, I want to remind you of an incident that took place 30 years ago. We had a long day in the office, and in the evening, 9:30, we came back to the barracks to go to sleep. When we reached the barracks, we walked 2 miles. And he said, when we reached the barracks, it occurred to me, we forgot to switch the light and the fan. What did you say at that time? You said, who's going to go back now to switch off the light and the fan? 2 miles going, 2 miles coming, it'll be 10:30. Haven't we worked hard? Then you said to me, what's the big deal? It's only one fan. And you said, what's the big deal? It's only one light. And you said to me, what is the big deal? It's only a matter of one night. And you said to me, what is the big deal? It belongs to the government. And you said, I'm not going. You went off to sleep. He said, I went back and I went off to switch off the light and the fan. And he said, now hear this carefully. 30 years ago, we both joined the services together on the same day. That is correct. You are getting $1,000, I was getting $1,000. That is correct. You were an employee then, I was an employee then. No, you were an employee then and you are an employee now. That is also correct. But here's the difference. I was an owner that night and I'm an owner tonight too. And the kind of thinking you have, you'll die an employee too. I was an owner that night. I'm an owner tonight. And the kind of thinking you have, you'll die an employee too. See, a paycheck does not decide who's the owner-employee. It is acceptance of responsibility and ownership. That is what makes a difference. You tell me, Did anybody give Bhagat Singh a certificate to become a patriot? No. He took ownership. He said, this is my country. Did anybody give a certificate to Netaji that now you are certified to serve the country? He said, no, to hell with you. He was ICS and he cancelled and rejected. He said, no. He took charge. And that is really what we are talking is ownership. And we need the same kind of ownership back into our own country where we people become accountable and every citizen. In fact, the other day, I was at a social get-together and that is embarrassing. I met a man, he said, look, this is, whoever comes, who cares? And whatever happens, who cares? I'm enjoying, I'm happy, I live comfortably, and so on. I said, what a disgrace you are. What a disgrace you are. What happens here, the water that you and I drink is a result of politics. The education our kids get is the result of politics. The food that we get is the result of politics. The air we breathe is the result of politics. How can you stay away? How can you stay away? What a selfish way of looking at things. I said, I'm embarrassed that I know you. I'm not kidding. It is embarrassing. This is outright selfishness, indifferent behavior. These are liabilities to countries. They're liabilities. In fact, if I had a choice, if I was the Prime Minister, I would take the driver license away. I would take the right to vote away. Get out! What the hell you are only a bloody taker. You are a parasite sucking the country, nothing more. You're not a contributor. Selfish rascals. This is an appropriate word, by the way. So we need to start understanding where the hell are we? What are we doing? Which direction are we heading towards?
How's the country doing? India?
Well, I think the last 8 years, 9 years, I think it has taken, I would call it in the history of our country, a turning point. I would call it a turning point because there are so many things that were corrected, that were done wrong prior to this in the last 75 years. And many more need to be done as yet. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, India is a prime example of lost opportunity.
It is.
Prime example of lost opportunity. Going back right from Prithviraj Chauhan.
1,000 years.
Yeah, right from Prithviraj Chauhan, when Muhammad Ghori came in to take us over, and Prithviraj defeated him. And the guy went away. Why did he go away? Prithviraj let him go away. Why did he let him go away? He must have said sorry, that's all. Now he said sorry, and you let him go. Why did you let him go? Only out of your chivalry to satisfy your ego. It is bigger person who forgives, so you let him go. He came back again with a bigger force. Then again, you probably beat him and let him go. Now, there are different versions to it.
Yes.
He came only once. Some people say 15 times.
Yeah.
We don't know that. But whatever it is, I don't care. Even once is bad enough anyway. Why did you leave him go?
Yes.
And the guy said sorry and you let him go. And the guy comes prepared, second time, strongly, comes and beats you. He beats you and after that knocks you off and blinds you and takes your wife, rapes her, puts her on the street. And then you are on the street, and from that point onwards, the Mughal history started in India. The Mughal history started from there. Or the Muslim rule started from there for the next 800 years. This is how it is. How stupid. But we talk of Bhagavad Gita and many other places. We haven't learned anything. Is forgiveness a virtue or stupidity? Why did you forgive him? We've been hearing Bhagavad Gita for thousands of years. It has not registered anywhere. What has happened? I'll share with you. You see, when Karan was struggling with the wheel,
Yeah.
At that time, what did Lord Krishna say to Arjun? Fire and kill him, finish him. And Arjun said, no, it goes against my principle of bravery. What did Krishna say? You are foolish. 5 minutes ago, this guy was firing at you. You could have been dead. You could have been dead. He was looking to kill you. And what did Arjun say? It is against my principle of bravery to fire at an unarmed person. And what did Krishna say? He is not unarmed. He is disarmed. He is not unarmed. He was killing you. He has been disarmed by your strength. Fire, kill him. He didn't say forgive him. He said kill him, and he killed. It's over. Why go that far? You see, in fact, interestingly, I finished a program and one person from the audience came up and he asked me, Mr. Khera, are you a Gandhian?
Okay.
So I've learned one thing, Abhijit, that before you answer a question, one, clarify the question, and two, sometimes the best answer to a question is a question. So I asked him, sir, can you please tell me what are the criteria of being a Gandhian, who is a Gandhian, and what makes a person a Gandhian?
Yes.
So the man said Gandhi believed in 3 principles. 1, with love you can win everybody.
Okay.
2, he taught tolerance. And 3, he taught ahimsa.
Okay.
3 principles of Gandhi. Then he asked me, are you a Gandhian? So I said, sir, I've been living in the US for the past 47 years. But I'm an Indian and I respect my epics, the Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, Guru Granth Sahib. They are respected by me and I'm sure many other people. I've not read them, but I've heard them. So I asked him, I said, sir, have you read our scriptures or other religious books? He said, yes, I've read them. So I don't know what came to my mind, Abhijit. I just asked him, was Ram a Gandhian? He said, what do you mean? I said, tell me your 3 principles of Gandhi. Let's look at it. 1, you said with love you can win everybody. Tell me, was Ram able to win with love? Answer is
no.
No. So he failed the first principle. Second, you said tolerance. Did Ram say I'm a very tolerant guy? You to kidnap my wife, it's okay, I'll get a second one. You'll kidnap a second one, I'll get a third one. You kidnap a third one, get a fourth one. Did he say that? He said, no, I don't tolerate kidnappers. And third was ahimsa. I said, what did Ram do? He pulled out his chopped this guy's head, knocked off. That is violence. That is violence. Even for self-defense, that is violence. But tell me, did Ram say, let's compromise? Let us meet halfway? Let us do satyagraha? He said, no, none of this nonsense will work. It doesn't work. And that is why it is said, when it is a matter of values, there is no compromise. I repeat, on issues of values, there is no compromise. हिंदी में कहते हैं धर्म युद्ध में समझौता नहीं होता. And same thing is true with our Sikh gurus. Just look at their life history. When the 10th Sikh guru, when the Mughals were attacking him and forcibly converting into Islam, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib, what did he do? Was he able to win with love? No. Did he say, I'll tolerate your terrorism? He said no. Did he pull out his weapon and fight? Answer is yes. He fought. So that means he was not a Gandhian either, nor was Ram a Gandhian. And then I said, you are so well read. Show me one scriptures where it says that when the enemy is auctioning the respect and dignity of your women and children, where does it say at that time that you should go to temples and do prayers and do meditation and bhajan kirtan? Damn it, that's a tie to fight. You need to understand. And not fighting is cowardice. And I said, I'm not a Gandhian. And I don't believe in his philosophies where he says, if people come and kill you, die like this and be privileged that you are being killed by other people. That's stupidity.
So let's try to look at leadership. Ram was a leader, Lord Ram. Lord Krishna was a leader. Guru Gobind Singh Ji was a leader. What are the characteristics of a leader? Who does a leader serve?
Most important thing is a leader ought to be a value-based leader. There's a difference between an effective leader and a good leader.
Okay.
Okay? Now, Hitler was an effective leader.
Okay.
Nobody can deny that. I mean, the guy got everybody to move. He got everybody to action.
Yes.
So he made, but was he a good leader?
Values.
Was he a good leader? He was not a good leader. Why was he not a good leader? Because he was effective leader, all right, but he was not a good leader. Because good leadership has to do something with values and effectiveness together. Values have to be part of it. And that is why sometimes people ask me, what are the things influenced you? What books influenced you? To me, the books that influenced me was the life history of 10 Sikh Gurus.
Okay.
What I learned from there. And that to me was, I would say, my foundation. My mother used to go to the Gurdwaras. And my daughter got married Anand Karaj. Half of our family wears turbans even today.
Okay.
And in fact, look at the Khalistan issue that came in here. And I mentioned in there that you can't find a bigger Hindu than a Sikh.
Yes.
You can't. You see, and they talk of sons of soil and the reservation sons of soil. I said, tell me, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib was born in Patna. Is he a Bihari? What makes him a Bihari? And then I am born in Dhanbad, which was Bihar.
Okay.
So there was a big event that took place in Ranchi. They honored me, and it was a big event. There were almost 40,000-50,000 people in a stadium come there. And they kept saying, Jharkhand ka beta aa gaya, Jharkhand ka beta aa gaya, Jharkhand ka beta aa gaya. I appreciated their sentiment, but I really didn't like the narrowness with which it was coming. So they handed me the mic. So my first thought was, I thanked them for the sentiments. And I said, stop the sentiment right here now. So I asked him, I said, you keep calling me Jharkhand ka beta aa gaya because I was born in Dhanbad. So I have become a Jharkhand ka beta today. But when Jharkhand was not there, what was I at that time? I was a Bihari at that time. I was not a Jharkhandi. And tomorrow, if Jharkhand is divided again into two parts, then what will I become? What will I become? And I said to them that day that Matri Bhumi ki ahmiyat Janam Bhumi se kahin zyada hoti hai. I'm an Indian first, not a Jharkhandi first. And sadly, look at what is going on in Maharashtra. Look at what is going on in other states. Everywhere they talk the same language. And you know how they start conclude now? Jai Bharat, Jai India, Jai Maharashtra, Jai Bombay, Jai Juhu. Jai Juhu. What the hell is going on? I mean, this is as narrow as you can get. I mean, this, in my opinion, is silly and stupid, in my opinion. You have to look at the nation and stop right there. And that's it. That's good enough. And that is why many times people say we should have one country, one language, one country, one law, one country, one education system. And I mean, that is so crucial in here. And I'll share with you one example. I was in Cochin. It was a trade show, and obviously at the show everybody was talking English. So I stopped at a booth, and I said, well, we got to be talking in English because that's what I understand. So I said, you don't understand Hindi. So one guy behind the counter, he said, nahi sahab, main to Rajasthan se hu, aap boliye na, Hindi se baat kijiye mere sath. So I said, okay. So anyway, then I said, well, in this place, people only talk English. Is that right? He said, no, sir, that is not right either. You see, up Cochin se, you just go 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers outside, nobody understands English either. I said, then what do they do? They understand the local Malayalam language.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I said, all right. So the whole state understands that. So I said, what about, it's a touching state to Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
It's a touching state. So I said, then how do you manage? Because that's the only language they know. You know what his answer was? He said, just a buffer area of 5 kilometers up and down is where people can exchange each other's language. After that, they can't understand each other's language. 5-10 kilometers up and down is what they understand. You know what that means? What a big drawback it is? Means any national leader cannot speak any language. You have to have local leaders everywhere like that.
And we see that on TV.
We see that.
Yes.
And nobody can go and address the nation and can understand or explain. Now, a practical example, the Textile Association of India, they are my clients. They were still located, I guess, in Coimbatore. And when I went to address, I found out that many of those factories are moving out to Turkey or Vietnam. They're packing up.
Okay.
I said, why are you packing up? He said, "Sahab, यहाँ पर काम करने को labor ही नहीं मिलती है. Even unskilled labor, you can't get it. Unskilled labor." I said, why is that?
Why is that?
There is so much of unemployment. He said, you know that Jaya Lalita Amma, who was there, she gave so many freebies to these people. Chawal free, dal free, falana free, every day thing is free. He said, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work. So our factories are closing. Even unskilled labor you can't find. What a tragedy of this country. Now, it doesn't stop here. So then I said, then how do you manage? He said, well, one, we are packing out and getting out of India. Second thing, they said, we tried to get labor from UP and Bihar. So now the labor from UP and Bihar came in here. One more problem is language problem. They don't understand Tamil. These people don't understand Hindi. So he said, how do you communicate? So now he said, we have to open up a school here. They started opening up a school for language to be able to communicate to each other. You tell me, is this one country? This is what they say, unity in diversity, unity in diversity. No. This is diversity in diversity. This is stupidity.
There is this tendency in India, to prioritize your sub-national identity over the national identity.
Yeah.
Do we need to have a common language? And it shouldn't be English. Because there's a lot of people who say that English is the link language, English should be the right language. It's the one that's most commonly acceptable to all.
I've heard people who propagate, we should have one language, sure, but why should we have English at all? And they give examples of Germany or they give examples of China that internally they keep using their own language, German language, and China keeps using their own language. You see, I totally disagree with them on one point that internally, yes, they do use their own local language, but for all external things in China, Germany, everywhere in the world, English has become a universal language.
It has.
It has, and you can't get out of it. So is that a good example to say that because Germany uses German language internally, we should have only one language and not have a second language? I personally feel that considering the diversity of India, I think you need to have one language, whether it is English or Hindustani or whatever you call it. We need to have one language here. At the same time, along with it, the English language needs to continue because that's a global language for all of us. Now then they come to the regional language. Now the question is, what's wrong with regional language? Nothing wrong. It's great.
Yes.
And every regional language has its own culture.
Yes.
So what are we saying? If I was to decide something, I'd say, all right, go ahead, do your regional language. Every region, we have to have a regional language, but have one language together, which is possibly Hindi or something which is more usable Hindi, not the Hindi which is absolutely difficult, classical Hindi, and English language along with it. Even countries like Switzerland, they have 3 languages, official languages.
Yes.
Even countries like Singapore, they have 4 languages,
yes.
3 languages. So, I mean, there is no problem with this. See, every country has had problems, but they have come up with solutions. But we are one country which is not coming up with a solution. That's all. So somebody somewhere has to put their foot down and say, stop. Enough. See, you can't take the country backwards all the way. And this is what we just, it's nice slogan, unity in diversity. Look at this example right here. This is not unity in diversity. You are destroying your country. So let your culture prevail. Let it blossom. Nobody's stopping. Your regional part, let it remain there. In this part of the world, they do Bhangra, that side they do Bharatanatyam. Arey karo yaar, jo karna hai, usme kya farak padta hai? And go in your own language, whatever you want. But that does not mean not at the cost of the country.
Yes.
You cannot sacrifice the larger interest for the sake of the smaller interest, no matter how big the small interest is. I repeat, you cannot sacrifice the larger interest for the sake of the smaller interest, no matter how big your small interest is. And sometimes it has to go. And I find totally absurd, and in my opinion, it is unpatriotic. Many of these regional leaders only give speeches in their own language, right there. West Bengal, Marathi, Phalana, national address kar raha hai. They're addressing to the nation, but they will do in their own language. Because I'm a Marathi. No, you are an Indian first. Don't you understand English language? And sadly, this is the kind of thinking that has gone into our schools, colleges, everywhere. We have created more problems to ourselves. See, 90% of India's problems are man-made, created right here. Look at this. I got a call the other day on some people committed suicide because of the entrance exams, national entrance exams. They could not compete or whatever that happened, or the grades. Now, how can you tell me one thing? You got national entrance exams, uniform, but every state has their own curriculum for the high school.
Yes.
Every state has their own board, Bihar board, Madras board, Pandrana board, ye board, wo board. They have all their board. But at some level, they have to compete at the national level. How can they compete when the curriculums are totally different and their educations are totally different? How can they compete?
Indeed.
Why don't you bring one education system level for everybody to compete at the right level?
Absolutely.
Does it take a PhD to understand this? Do we need an MBA? You know, sad thing is, I don't understand how come such people sitting there, they have no common sense. They have no common sense at all. Or there is education mafia. There's an education mafia that doesn't want to be done in this manner. They all want to suck something out of the country.
And that's where politicians get involved.
That's right.
Yes.
So, I mean, one has to look at it this way. You don't need any more so-called politicians. You need statesmen. You see, a politician can be divided into a statesman or a traitor very easily. But you see, that's not what it is. You have to have people who are looking long-term and who put the country's interest above their own. And that is sad. And they're not doing it. Look at even issues on reservation. How much we have created problem. Because I was a applicant, a petitioner into the Supreme Court on that reason should not be based on caste and religion. And sadly, even in 1999, when the election was taking place in Rajasthan, and at that time, the Prime Minister went in and they declared all the Jats as backward, OBC. How are Jat backward? After that, every state says, we are backward and we are backward. Every Jat is backward. Jat could never be backward anyway. Now then other people say, Meena says, Gujar says, I say, you say Shiv Khera is backward, you are backward. Who is not backward, man? Tell me.
The entire country goes backward now.
So now the biggest race here is who is more backward than the other.
Yes.
I mean, there are certain things that are irreversible through history. Irreversible. We are creating damages to our country. And sadly, That is our major issue. आप मेरे को एक बात बताओ, आप प्लेन में बैठते हो, ट्रेन में बैठते हो, बस में पूछते हो, कभी किसी से आज तक पूछिए आपकी जात क्या है?
Never.
Never.
Nobody does that.
You know something? These are things that are created. Yes, there was untouchability. Nobody is denying all these things. We've had problems. But to something, we've had problems, but the kind of problems by having such wrong decisions and policies that we are making, we are creating bigger problems in the future. We're not eradicating them.
Yeah.
We are perpetuating
We
them.
are perpetuating them. By making them legal, official.
That's right.
Yes. So this reservation system is really the bane of the country. It kills the entire concept of merit. It demoralizes students who appear for various exams. But I think it's politically like suicide to abolish reservations, isn't it?
I don't think it is a political suicide. It has to be phased out, cleaned out properly, and they have to stop this. And sadly, whenever there's an issue on reservation, I'm called in on the television debates and so on. And there was one member of parliament who said, Mr. Khera तो ऐसे बात कर रहे हैं जैसे हम लोग बहुत कमज़ोर लोग हैं यहाँ पे. And he says, do you think India is so weak? हम लोग टूट जाएंगे 2 मिनट में ऐसे. And he gave a little poetry in Hindi language. हजारों साल से आक्रमण हुए, कुछ बात जरूर है, हस्ती मिटती नहीं हमारी. He said that.
Okay.
And the audience there clapped. तो मेरे दिमाग में समझ में आया कि यार ये ऑडियंस को समझ में आई बात, ये बोला क्या है ये? खाली इसको जो मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट है ताली बजा दी उसकी, या इनको आदत है घर में जाके तालियां बजाते हैं ये लोग, इनको कुछ समझ में नहीं है. सो आई आस्क्ड द मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, आई सेड टेल मी, इसको इतिहास भूल गया है जब कहता है कुछ बात जरूर है, हस्ती मिटती नहीं हमारी, हजारों साल से. I said, has he forgotten history? Just 70 years ago, our border used to stretch till Kabul.
Yes.
It stops at Amritsar now. On this side, we used to go all the way to Burma on this side. You stop Dhaka, and today you stop at Calcutta. Doesn't he understand? Until Article 370 got removed.
Yes.
You see, every day Indian flag for the last 70 years has been burning 20 times per day. मैंने कहा इस मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट को दिख नहीं रहा कि हस्ती मिट रही है हम लोगों की डेली. Stupid. This is how they talk. They are living on denial, outright denial, and they are looking for their own selfish gains and how to pocket money, how to become wealthy, how to become rich, and they say to hell with you. This is, in my opinion, treachery. And same thing they are doing between dividing people. See, many times people say that the divide and rule policy was brought in by the Britishers. That's not true. We were divided before they came in. They only came and ruled here. That's all. We were not united even then before. See, this has been, that's why we are spectators. And sadly, I just gave you the example of this guy sitting there, says, it doesn't make any damn difference. Of course it makes a difference. You are just nothing else but a traitor. So, I mean, yes, in the last 9 years, quite a few things have changed. A lot more needs to be changed. I mean, something in issues like the 370, Article 370 has been knocked off. I mean, that is now part of your country. It was not the way it was being treated. Look at the people. And look at what was going on. 500,000 Hindus were kicked out from there.
Yes.
And no court did anything. No secular person who was talking about it at that time said a word about it. How come they were quiet? You know something? They are all opportunists. They pretend a face and show how good we are by behaving secularist. That's all. But there is no reality substance behind them. I mean, One thing after the other. And look at the whole story. Our women did not have a place to go to even do the toilets.
Okay,
Almost 1.5 crore toilets have been built in the last 8 years.
Yes.
I mean, that was basic human rights. Basic human rights. Look at the roads network that has come up. Look at, we have multiplied 100% into our airports.
Yes.
There were 74 and today they're 150 and we're going to 200. Things have changed and India is not considered to be same weak state the way it used to be 60 years, 70 years ago.
Yes.
Or even 50 years ago. I mean, the Canadians, through our diplomat, we threw them out. It's okay, good. That's the way it is. That's the way it ought to be. It is high time that we did it. But we need to get our internal house cleared. See, there are quite a few things that are not correct right here. A judicial system. On an average, it takes 25 years to get justice. A case, it takes 25 years on an average.
A quarter century.
Yeah, quarter century. You tell me, this is what? This is terrorizing your own citizens. This is not the way to treat your own people. You tell me one thing, are there not remedies? There are so many remedies here. Look at this one thing. First of all, 33% of the judicial seats are lying vacant for the last 10, 15, 20 years. They can't find a judge to fill. Out of 150 crore people, they can't find a person to sit there. What a disgrace. They say, oh, judiciary doesn't permit. No, change the judiciary. They don't permit, change them. The law doesn't permit, change the law. 150 times this country's constitution has been amended. 150, do it 151 times. Change it. Why are you sitting there? Why are you sitting there? They keep making excuses. They don't allow. Who is they? Who is they? This is disgraceful. And besides, you look at it, hotels, hospitals, airports, everything runs 3 shifts. Why can't we run our judiciary 3 shifts? You don't need any infrastructure. It's all there. You can't find people to sit there. 150 crores. Population is busting here. We're the biggest populated country in the world, more than China.
Yes.
We have 20% of world population, but only 2% of world's land and 4% of drinking water. Why don't we make a law? We may not be growing at that rate, but we need to reduce. I'm not saying that we should go into one-child policy like China. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that anybody having more than 2 kids, their voting right should be taken away. More than 2 kids. Stop. Bring a uniform marriage law, marriage age. Bring your marriage age. Right now, the girl's marriage age is 18.
Yes.
But only for people like the Hindu families and others.
Yes.
But for Muslims, it is what? 9, 8, 7, 6 or 12, 11. It is whenever you have your periods, that is your marriageable age. But do you know, even in Pakistan, the minimum marriageable age is 18.
Even Turkey, I think.
Oh, I don't know, but maybe. But what I'm saying to you is, we should have a marriageable age. At the same time, one man, one woman. I mean, you can't have polygamy. It is not there. I'll share with you one more example on pollution. And I'm going now to go ahead and file a PIL on this one. I'm coming up with this. You see, India is the second most polluted country in the world. Delhi is the most polluted city in the world. Okay? Now, how do you get rid of pollution? One way that I'm filing a PIL is to address disposal of dead bodies.
Okay.
Disposal of dead bodies. So, we're saying Electricity has reached every corner of the country today. Make electric crematoriums as a law. And if you rely on judiciary, they're never going to do the job right. They haven't done it. It took 700 years for them to decide the Ram Mandir issue. 700 years. What a joke. It is 50 years, still they have not decided the Sikh riots. What a joke. They don't do it. You know why? They don't suffer themselves. They don't suffer as much. Now, somebody say, oh, of course they breathe the same air. No. They don't breathe the same air. They don't breathe the same air. They are all in a controlled environment, in the court, in the home, in the cars, everywhere. How much air are they breathing? They're not. Look at the, and that is disposable of Hindu dead bodies, cremation. And now non-Hindu dead bodies, how do you handle that? See, there are places, crematorium, the burial grounds are full. Now they are looking for new burial grounds. You want to make the country burial ground here? The whole country as a burial ground? What the hell are you looking for? There are many countries in this world, they don't have any land, such as even UK or Germany or Singapore, there is no land there. Do you know how do they handle the dead bodies for non-Hindus? It is very clear. The law in Singapore is every 15 years, all graves have to be recycled. Finish. All graves have to be recycled. Nobody says a question. Nobody's religious rights are violated. What's the matter? Are we stupid? Don't we see precedences? People have solved their problem. We are only perpetuating our problem. Do you need a PhD to understand this?
Not quite.
You know, sad part is after doing PhD, they still don't understand this anyway. You know why? They're so selfish. They don't put the country's interest above their own. That's all. Look at this. In 1 minute, there is an answer to pollution issue here. One. And there are so many multiple issues. Look, I'll share with you how other laws are creating problems here. And corruption is creating a big problem here in this country. You see laws on adulteration of food, medicine, adulteration of anything today. See, what is the maximum penalty? Is 10,000 rupees, 6 months jail. But you murder somebody, it's life sentence or death. Now this guy who sells milk to you and puts urea every day and gives to 500 people, what is maximum penalty? 10,000 bucks. And that he kills 600 people every day. Nothing happens. What a defective system it is. And today there are some figures that are saying 5 to 10 crore Bangladeshis and Rohingyas people have come into India, 5 to 10 crores.
Yes.
Is this not a national security issue?
They are everywhere now.
They have invaded the country.
Yes.
Tell me, which country where people can walk in and now 5 to 10 crore people coming into your country, it is not by default. Somewhere your system is wrong. Somewhere at the border, there is corruption going on. Otherwise, people will stop them. There is corruption going on.
It's well known.
Right there. And they pay 2,000 bucks, they come into the country and they keep coming in. 2,000 bucks, they get an Aadhaar card. 2,000 bucks, they get a driver license. And 2,000 bucks, they get election card. Man, everything is all over. I mean, this country has been invaded. Don't we see what is going on? Are you waiting for another civil war here? It'll happen. Should happen. What the hell is going on? Don't we see anything beyond our nose here? I mean, all this that is moving and the way things are happening within India today. And many times people say, well, what about the Hindu majority? I said, you know, the sad part of this country is that I don't know of any country in the world where the majority community feels so insecure as the Hindu community feels in their own country. I repeat one more time, English language. I don't know of any country where a majority community feels insecure the way the Hindu community feels insecure in our own country here.
That is true. Yes.
But it is true. Why is it true? Because of appeasement. Look at the Waqf Board law. Look at the Waqf Board law that has come into this country. You are familiar with it, aren't you?
I'm aware of it.
Yeah. 1995 that act came in under Congress. All it says is they can come into Arvind's house, Abhijit's house, they can come into your house and say, this is Waqf Board property. Now, what do? You can't do a damn thing, even if you have all the registration, paper, documents, ownership, title, everything. You can't do a damn thing. You can't go to your local court. Are you aware of that? You can't go to local court. You have to go to tribunal. Sir, this is the story. You have no even recourse. This is draconian. You tell me one thing. Show me one country in the world where a law like this exists. Not one country. And I'm surprised. I also only came to know about 2 years ago. And this passed in 1995. Tell me what all these big lawyers are doing today. All they are doing is they are filling their pockets and selling the country. You think these lawyers didn't know this law? I didn't know it. I'm not a lawyer. But what the hell were they doing? They were betraying the country. They were doing treachery with the country, and that's all. And what were all these politicians doing? I have to admire this guy, the Upadhyay, Ashwani. He's filed cases against the government on PIS on these. I am becoming a party to it. I'm also filing next week also.
Okay.
But somebody has to get up. This is draconian. There is no country in the world where such laws exist. And this is existing against the Hindus. And wherever within India, wherever you find the demographics changing, where the Hindus have become a minority, they are scared. Look at Kashmir. That's part of India. No court, no police, nobody came. Nobody came. And even now, look at Innu, in Mewat, what happened just now recently. Wherever the majority becomes Muslim, greater, Hindus are in danger. They created a problem. Even in Tamil Nadu, where the majority became greater in one of the communities, they closed the Hindu mandir. And then eventually he had to go to court, and then Madras High Court gave a judgment. But my big question is, just because you became more in number, you had the nerve and the guts, and actually you closed the temple. What's going on? I mean, don't we see what's going on here? And where people have to go and take a recourse to court in such things, the government of India should suo moto get into it. Government should get into it, suo moto. In fact, Anand Raghunathan wrote a very good article. He said 8 ways how the Hindus are being 8th class citizen in this country. Hindus are 8th class citizens in this own country.
Yes, I'm aware. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And every word that he wrote in there makes sense. Every word that he wrote makes sense. Today, all the Hindu temples are under government control.
Yes, they
then
are.
Nothing else is under government control. Why don't they do the masjids and why don't do the churches? How is that? Is this a secularism? This is nonsense. This is not secularism. In Delhi, all the masjid Maulvis are getting salaries. How come the churches and the temples are not getting salaries? How come? This is secularism. Why doesn't the government not take an action suo moto? Why should somebody else come in, people like you and me, file a bloody PIL? Why should we do it? You see, people one-on-one become vulnerable. When the government takes over, it's a different story.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, I can just go on and on. There are so many things right there.
This is the accumulated baggage of the past 70 years, 70, 80 years.
I don't know. I think we basically need to understand my new book that is coming out, which is on Freedom is Not Free. I am adding a chapter in it, which is the genocides of the Hindus in the past 800 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming up with that. And two is the Sikh history, the sacrifices, and how people came in, and what is the, and also how Sikhism fought against superstition.
Okay.
See, today in India, one major thing that is keeping India down is our superstitious nature also. Now, why am I talking this? Because you will find, if you read the life history of Swami Vivekananda, Swami Dayanand, Guru Nanak, they never believed in all these things. In fact, they fought against it. Look at in Sikh families, there's no Manglik. They never tally horoscope. There is no Shubh Muhurat for a wedding. Every Sikh wedding is done on a Sunday. Sunday doesn't sit right, they do it on a Saturday. Saturday doesn't sit right, they do it on a Friday. I mean, these things are weakening us, and we keep going to Babaji, Guruji, Babaji, Guruji, Babaji, touching their feet, Babaji, Guruji. I mean, the guy should be in jail. What are you touching Babaji, Guruji, Babaji, Guruji? क्या करें बाबाजी? एक बाबा कहता है बेटा प्रीत करो, और प्रीत बेच रहा है. एक बाबा हनी बेच रहा है, तीसरा हनी प्रीत मिक्स करके बेच रहा है. You see, all this is going on. And एक बाबा कहता है तुमने जलेबी कल खाई थी, नहीं खाई थी, यही प्रॉब्लम है. एक कहता है गोलगप्पे खाए थे, नहीं खाए थे, यही प्रॉब्लम है. And I saw one guy wearing 10 rings. 10 rings. I asked him, 10 नीचे भी पहनी है क्या? What is it? No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I know.
I'll share with you, because of such superstition, it has weakened us. We don't take responsibility, we blame the stars. And I'll share very important thing that came to my mind. You see, life always does not go up. It does come down.
Yes.
Yeah. And people who are accepting responsibility, they analyze the situation, they ask themselves a question: if a similar situation came again, will I behave the same way? If the answer is yes, means you've not learned anything. If the answer is no, you learned something from it and move forward. But a person who's not willing to accept responsibility, you know what they do? They blame the stars. Now, I'll share, there was an article that came out in India Today, January issue of 2018. It said astrology and superstition. And it quoted, you can pick up that article, and you must pick up that article. It quoted there that because of superstition and astrology, in many parts of India, especially South India, many people are not aware of it. And even if they are aware of it, they say, well, that's reality. I mean, we have to come back to taking responsibility. आपको एक और example देता हूँ, how our superstition comes to play. See, once I was going to the airport, and the driver hit the brakes so hard, the car came to a screeching halt. I asked him, क्या हो गया? बोले साहब बिल्ली रास्ता काट गई.
Okay.
So I asked him, अब क्या होगा? बोले साहब गाड़ी रोक देता हूँ, अब शगुन है, जाएंगे तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. तो मैंने कहा, if I miss my flight तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. तो I asked him कि कब तक गाड़ी रोकोगे? बोले क्या, जब तक कि दूसरा गाड़ी नहीं निकल जाए. तो मैंने कहा उसको प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. बोले that's his problem. Look at this. This guy, as he was talking like as he was authority on cat, बिल्ली. तो मैंने उसको पूछा कि मान लीजिए आप 15 गज पहले होते और बिल्ली निकल चुकी होती, और आपने अगर बिल्ली को ना देखा होता, तो इन दैट केस आप ही पहली गाड़ी होती, आप चले जाते, फिर क्या होता? Think what this man said at that point. He says, साहब in that case बिल्ली की पावर कम हो जाती है. और ये बात है. आप हंस रहे हो साहब, पढ़े लिखे PhD MBA यही कुछ कर रहे हैं.
अच्छा,
यही कुछ कर रहे हैं.
ओके.
And that is what Guru Nanak stood against, was superstition. See, what I like about the Sikhi part is that, in fact, we feel proud of it, because that is one community who has been honored all over the world for the humanitarian service during this period. And whenever and wherever it has been. And why? Because Sikhi really comes down to three things. They're caring people, sharing people, daring people. Caring people, they care. Sharing is the concept of langar, of distribution. And daring, they have the guts to fight. Yeah? Now, because Sikhi stands on three pillars, which is called Nam Jap, Vand Chak, Kirat Kar. Nam Jap, Vand Chak, Kirat Kar. Nam Jap is there is only one God, formless God, one God. Two, Vand Chak is the concept of sharing and langar. It is 500 years old.
Okay.
And third is Kirat Kar. Kirat Kar means mehnat karke imandari se khana khao. See, no, it gives dignity to work. No work is small if you have done it honestly. No work is small.
Yes.
Now, in your experience, you are pretty well experienced. Tell me, have you ever seen a Sikh beggar anywhere in the world?
Never ever.
You know why? There you haven't seen? Because there are none. There are none. They will never beg. Even a person whose hands are chopped and legs are chopped, they will still not beg. You see, this is not ego. You see, this is dignity of labor. They'll clean your shoes, they'll wash your bathroom, they'll clean your toilet, they'll do anything. They will not beg. Any work done honestly is dignity of labor. It's worth it. No wonder this community has done well all over the world. And not only that, there is no caste in Sikhs. See, every Sikh man, last name is a Singh. And every Sikh woman's name is a Kaur. There is no caste. And I wish, through your medium, if I can convey that if India had adopted the Sikh philosophy instead of our own constitution in this country would have been a different country totally. Because they are willing to share, give, love, equality, respect. They do it and they practice it. You will go and find out people getting out of the Mercedes cars at the Gurdwaras, and they straight go down to take your shoes. They clean your shoes and they put it back right there. They're cleaning all the toilets. They're cleaning everything. And it goes back in his car, Mercedes and BMW goes back home. You see, it is a different thing.
You referred to the Khalistan issue. What do you make of it?
It is a creation of Pakistan. You see, if you remember, when 1971 Bangladesh took place at that time, there was an article that came out, I read, when the Pakistanis said, we will bleed India with 1,000 wounds. We will find ways how to keep bleeding them. But they have been bleeding us even before that, by the way.
They have, yes.
So it is not that it started from there. But it only aggravated. And many places, we were fools again and again. India is a totally example again of missed opportunities. 1971 war, you had the whole Pakistan in your pocket. The entire army was with you.
Yes.
You tell me one thing. Why didn't you settle every matter on that agreement?
I wonder.
They wonder.
Yeah.
This is the incapacity, stupidity, lack of patriotism, lack of farsightedness. We just let them go. Again, stupid. You tell me, you could have figured out, demarcated all your borders for Bangladesh at that time, because there was no Bangladesh.
Indeed.
There was no Bangladesh. And you could have created. Do you know right now, today, India, all our borders are disputed borders.
I know.
Every border.
Yes.
Pakistan border, Bangladesh border, China border, you name it, everywhere there's a dispute. Show me one country in the world where the borders are disputed, all over the world. Nowhere is it, only India. Everywhere people have got the borders demarcated. And we could have so many opportunities, we could have done it. 47 we could have done it, 71 we could have done it, anytime we could have done it. But even to date, and I sadly to say, I've spoken to some of the DG police senior guys. नहीं आप जानते नहीं हैं साहब, वो इतनी मुश्किल है, नाली से निकलती है, घरों के अंदर से बॉर्डर निकलता है, फलाना निकलता है. मैं कहा घरे नहीं, आपके पेट में से भी निकलेगा, बॉर्डर निकलेगा. अगर आप नहीं ठीक करोगे तो कुछ भी नहीं होएगा. And this is what they talk like this. Cops at the senior level. How stupid! You could have drawn any line and that would have become the border. क्या बात कर रहे हो आप? अपना घर का भैया ऐसा है, when somebody is hell bent to commit suicide, you can't stop them. वो तो इस पेड़ से नहीं लटकेगा, दूसरे से लटकेगा, दूसरे से तीसरे से लटकेगा. उसको रोक नहीं सकते आप. कब तक रोकोगे? And which is a sad part of our country. And that's where we need strong, good leadership. And that's it. And I think Modi has done a good job. I think a lot more needs to be done. And then we need to groom some new people. I say really like what Yogi does in UP. Okay. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. The guy, at least he settled things better. People who disagree with Yogi, they still admire him. And I know there are members of parliaments from some other parties. यार जो उसने किया है तरीका ठीक नहीं है लेकिन काम ठीक किया है.
अच्छा, okay.
They say that. मैंने कहा काम ठीक किया तो हो गया काम. और मैंने कहा जो आप ठीक तरीके से कर रहे हो, 50 साल लोगों को मरवा रहे हो सड़क पे खड़े करके, वो ठीक है. काला कोट पहना हुआ है, आपने क्या किया? आपने वकील बने हुए, आपने क्या किया? They are only takers and they talk nonsense.
So who do you see as the future leaders of India? Do you see, apart from Mr. Yogi?
Well, we need people who put the country's interests above their own and who can take decisions rather than drag their feet. They need to take calls and decide and be done with it. Because without that, I personally, when you talk of $5 trillion economy and this and that, because unless your foundations, you see, look at this. We are the third largest army in the world.
Yes.
But tell me, if there are corrupt people who will let your enemies come from inside and stab you from the back, how good is your army, your one-third world army? It's all going to be destroyed from internally. Same thing, I was reading somewhere on the Great Wall of China. They built a huge wall of China to protect themselves from outsiders.
Yes.
But when the invaders came, they right at the bottom of the gate, they bribed those people and they opened the gate and everybody came in. What happened to the wall? What happened to the wall? So you know something, we need to address our basic things. Our corruption has gotten so deep-rooted that we are willing to sell our mother for money. Do you know the 1993 bomb blast judgments are here? Which came, 1993 bomb blast,
the
Bombay blast,
yes,
where 1,600 people got either killed or injured badly. The judgments are all there. You know what was eventually came out of it? Are you aware that all the RDX was cleared through immigration and customs and escorted to site by people in uniform? And the money that they took was only 20 lakhs. Now, when you have people inside the country like this, do you need enemies from outside? Now, do you need an analytical research scientist to analyze this little thing and come up with a conclusion? Stupidity. When it is raining outside, do you still need to call the weather bureau to find out how the weather is outside? We're stupid. Don't we see what's going on right here? So we need, see, when we're talking of biggest, third largest economy in the world and so on, but start looking at it. Will we be an integrated India 10, 20, 30 years from now? Where will it be? What kind of internal issues and problems are we facing internally right here?
Yes.
So we need to address all these things right here. And there are multiple issues, whether it is education or corruption or infiltration. I mean, you are literally being invaded by people out here. And when the riots take place like this, how the hell do you think you're going to get out there? You could be the first biggest economy in the world. Okay, so what? Where's your country?
How big of a challenge is corruption? Does it affect everybody?
Does it not?
I think it's a very real thing on the ground level.
33% of the world's adulterated medicines or drugs come from where? In 33% of the world. Come from here. And we start looking at it, a lot of problems that we are facing today, healthcare, adulteration, education, a lot of these things are so interrelated with one another. Population growth and everything. Population growth हो रही है, डिफॉरेस्टेशन हो रही है, पेड़ कट रहे हैं, फलाना कट रहा है, जगह चाहिए, जमीन चाहिए, खत्म करते जाओ अपने आप को, और एक के बाद एक इट्स अ साइकिल. डिफॉरेस्टेशन हो जाएगी, ग्लोबल वार्मिंग बढ़ जाएगी, ग्लोबल वार्मिंग बढ़ जाएगी, आपका क्लाइमेट चेंज हो जाएगा, फलाना चेंज हो जाएगा, ये खत्म हो जाएगा, आप फिर बीमार हो जाओगे, अस्पताल नहीं है, कहाँ जाओगे, करोगे क्या? जो पेड़ कट रहे हैं वो भी करप्शन की वजह से कट रहे हैं. इन्फिल्ट्रेशन हो रही है, करप्शन की वजह से हो रही है, चारों एवरीवेयर बेईमानी हो रही है साहब. We need to understand. And you see, intellectual corruption also has gone so deep into us. You see, even that judge CJI that was there before, उससे पूछा गया था, do you have corruption in the judiciary? बोलता है जब सारी दुनिया में पूरे देश में है तो हम कैसे छूट सकते हैं? You remember that? Which judge was that? I think it was Gogai or somebody said that. हम कैसे छूट सकते हैं? That means he accepted that there is corruption at the higher level of the judiciary. वो कहते हैं वो selectively corrupt है. You know what selectively corrupt means? I had a very senior lawyer. I asked him कि यार corruption है कहीं जुडिशरी में सीनियर लेवल में? बोलता है यार सेलेक्टिव करप्शन है. मैंने कहा वो क्या मतलब होता है? व्हाट इज? वो कहता ये है कि दे आर ऑनेस्ट पीपल, अच्छे ऑनेस्ट हैं, लेकिन उनका बहुत लिमिटेड एक दो लोगों से टाई किया होता है, उन्हीं के थ्रू ही सारा काम करते हैं. तो मैंने कहा फिर करप्ट तो हो गए ना यार. सेलेक्टिवली करप्ट नहीं, सेलेक्टिवली तब होते हैं कि मतलब जब अमाउंट उनको जब 300-400 करोड़ मिल जाते हैं एक ही जगह से, तो फिर मतलब वो हो जाते हैं, मतलब तो सेलेक्टिवली इसको सेलेक्टेड. तो यार फिर तू सीधी तरीके से, मैं तू भी वकील है ना, तू भी झूठ बोल रहा है ना, तू सीधी तरह बोल करप्ट है या नहीं है, सीधा जवाब दे. हायर लेवल पे करप्ट हो गए, सेलेक्टिवली करप्ट हो गए. इसका मतलब ये है कि जो लोग चोरी हेरा फेरी करते हैं और पीपल हु आर केटरिंग टू दिस, लुक एट दोज पीपल हु आर प्रोस्टिट्यूट्स, दे केटर टू डिफरेंट लेवल्स ऑफ पीपल. सो वो डिफरेंट लेवल को केटर कर रहे हैं. बात खत्म होगी, सीधी बात बोलना यार तू. समझ में आएगी?
So how do we address corruption? How do we deal with it?
Sir, only answer is, sadly, we put too much emphasis on skill development. And skill development.
Okay.
And for the last 8-10 years, skill development में ये करो, skill बनाओ, skill बनाओ, skill बनाओ. Countries are never built on skills. Countries are always built on character. Countries are never built. You have only skills and no character. You will have a skillful rascal, you will have a skillful attorney, you will have a skillful doctor, you will have a skillful judge. They will sell your bloody country all the time. So start from character building. That's your basic point. And then you start changing and seeing how things start moving, and it takes generation to keep building character like this. And because it goes from one generation to the next and the next and the next. That's what it is. सब इतनी मुश्किल चीज नहीं है, आसान है. करने का इरादा चाहिए और काम हो जाएगा. आपको अपना पूरा एजुकेशन सिस्टम ठीक करो आप.
हाँ बिल्कुल, यस.
पूरा एजुकेशन सिस्टम ठीक करो आप, एंड यू स्टार्ट मूविंग एंड गेट गोइंग विद इट, एंड यू स्टार्ट वाचिंग, थिंग्स विल स्टार्ट चेंजिंग.
I think it boils down to the education system. That's what we need to fix first, right?
Education system will only come if you have good leadership.
Of course.
Right there.
Yes.
तो वहीं से ही चलेगा और वही आगे लेके जाएंगे. वो लाएगा, अपने आप थोड़ी आएगा यार, कोई तो लेके आएगा, किसी को लाना चाहिए. And that's the key.
That's the key.
Sir, it's not that difficult.
It's not that difficult. In the absence of a good education system, how do kids develop the right kind of character?
They don't.
They don't.
They don't. आज की तारीख में आपने अमेरिका में चले जाओ ना, पहले क्या होता था वहां पर? इसी पहले में एक आदमी होता था, उसके 3-4 बच्चे होते थे. आज इसी एक बच्चा है, उसके 4 बाप हैं उसके.
Actually, yes.
He's got 4 fathers. We don't know what's going on. उसको ये मालूम नहीं कौन कहाँ पर किसका है. They are concerned. Somebody has 3 mothers, somebody has 4 fathers. What the bloody hell is going on? They don't know. So whenever you go away from basic values, things deteriorate. And by the way, हम लोग कहते हैं ना, we take so much pride on Indian values, ethos, Indian values. No, but go check out. Integrity and cheating has been given the same meaning in New York, New Delhi, New Zealand.
It's a universal thing.
Universal.
Yes.
So universal. And if you go back and look at 200 to 300 years ago, I'm writing my next book, even there, they were all arranged marriages. There were no love marriage at that time. So you see, and they also believed in all those values that we are talking of: integrity, loyalty, commitments. These are all not your and my values. They come from Ramayana, they come from Mahabharata, they come from everywhere, and they are universal values. And that's the key.
That's the key. My last question to you is, how optimistic are you about the future of India?
Well, considering the activities and actions taken by the Modi government in the last 9 years, that is a ray of hope. And people looking at people like Yogi and others, that also gives me hope. And most important thing is that when people like Modi, if they have picked up such good people like our railway minister,
Mr. Vaishnav
and Jai Shankar, these people are, I have a lot of respect for them. I have a lot of respect for them.
Yes.
And in fact, today, because of that, Indians are respected all over the world. Indian passport carries his great regards. And not only that, you look at it, during the Ukraine crisis, see how 20, 30 or 40,000 Indian kids came out free, clean, and even including enemy country like Pakistan took the Indian flags and started moving. But they're opportunists. You see, just because they took Indian flag, I had some people say, "Hey, ये देखो हिंदुस्तानी बन गए." मैंने कहा, हिंदुस्तानी सारी जिंदगी में नहीं बनेगा. अगली बारी जब लड़ाई होगी, हिंदुस्तानी का गला काटेगा, यही काटेगा. तू बेवकूफ बना हुआ है. And sometimes I find many times people talking like this, that नहीं लोग बहुत अच्छे हैं वहाँ पर, लोग बहुत अच्छे हैं वहाँ पर, बहुत अच्छे हैं लोग. मैंने कहा, लोग कैसे अच्छे हैं? नहीं, 1-on-1 आपकी बहुत खातिर करते हैं. दे आर वेरी केयरिंग पीपल. तो मैंने कहा, खातिर कैसे करते हैं यार? कहते हैं, हमारी क्रिकेट टीम जाती है वहाँ पर, कोई दुकान में जाती है, कपड़ा खरीदते हैं तो पैसे नहीं लेते साहब. और फिर हमारे वहाँ रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हैं तो पैसे नहीं लेते, उससे खाने का पैसे नहीं लेते. मैंने कहा, यार तेरे को एक कमीज की दे दी और तू वहीं बिक गया, और तेरे को वहाँ पर 2 रोटी खिला दी मुंह पे और तो उसी में बिक गया. ये नहीं देखते कि वहाँ पर हर दूसरे दिन वहाँ से 50 गोली चलती है यहाँ से, और 70 साल हो गए तेरी क्रिकेट खेलते खेलते 70 साल हो गए, अब तक तो कुछ ठीक नहीं हुआ तेरा. खाली तू इसी में खुश हो गया, बिक गया. तेरा दिमाग खराब है तेरा. डोंट यू अंडरस्टैंड? एंड नो, वो 1-on-1 तो बहुत अच्छे लोग हैं. मैंने कहा, अच्छे हैं क्या? जस्ट गो एंड लुक एट द स्टैटिस्टिक्स. Do you know when we got independence, आज़ादी मिली थी, they were 22% of the Hindus and Christians. Hindus.
आज 2 से कम है.
आज 1% रह गया वहाँ पर. है उनकी पॉपुलेशन क्या है? उनकी पॉपुलेशन है वहाँ पर about 180 million, somewhere give or take 160-180 के करीब. तो 20% 180 million का क्या होता है भैया?
36.
Almost 36 million. And 1% रह गया. Where the bloody hell 36 million people have vanished? This is worse than the Holocaust took that Jews.
Absolutely.
वहाँ तो 6 million था. 36 million people, they've been killed, butchered, kidnapped, murdered, thrown. This is what it is. आपको समझ में नहीं थी, जहां पर भी मुस्लिम मेजॉरिटी होती है माइनॉरिटी मर जाती है, वहीं पर खत्म नहीं. लुक एट बांग्लादेश. There were 37% Hindus when we got independence. And today, how much is left? 5%. Where have these people gone? Again, another 30 million people. 65, 70 million people vanished from this earth. Are you bloody stupid? एक दो रोटी तेरे मुंह पे डाल दिया तो खुश हो गया, बहुत ही काम कर दिया उन लोगों ने. तेरे को समझ में नहीं आती है. एक कमीज मुफ्त में मिल गई तो बिक गया. You see, I come from Punjab, which is now in Pakistan.
Okay.
And my grandparents moved, and they asked me, "Don't you like to go and see your native place?" I said, "No, I don't. Why should I want to? What is native about it? What is native about it? We fought, ran away from there, saving our lives. They're killing everybody every third day. Where is the human element? Why should I go to see my building my grandfather had? I don't even give a damn what it is. Let them bloody well destroy it. Who cares? That's not my heritage. That is not my heritage." No, they said that is you want to see your ancestor. I said nothing to do with it. They are only memories of falsehood and violence and nothing else. They are not memories of any pleasant thing. क्या है वो? अरे बिल्डिंग से, जगह से nothing happens. It is people who do it. And you have to look at the character of people. That is what pulls or pushes you away. I don't give a damn. I have no sympathies. वो बोलते हैं वो आपस में गोली मार रहे हैं, मैंने कहा और मारो यार, मरो. मेरा क्या लेना देना है? I'm concerned with my country. Many times people say, जो सुपरस्टिशन की आप बात करते हो, क्या दूसरी कंट्रीज में नहीं है क्या? मैंने कहा है, बहुत कुछ है. तो मैं उस सारी दुनिया का ठेका लिया मैंने क्या? I'm not the general manager of the world. This is my country. I owe responsibility here.
Yes.
I'm concerned about here. तू जाके जो मर्जी करता रहे, तू सेकुलर बन जाए यार. तू यूनाइटेड नेशन है क्या? तू कौन है?
All right, sir. Thank you so much for a fascinating conversation. Lots of different topics. And I hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you. So that was the conversation. Hope you liked it. If you enjoyed this, please share this on WhatsApp and other media. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.